we're going to do today is we're going to work on both exercises 29 and 30 from Troy Stetina's Metal Rhythm Guitar Volume 1. And basically, the first one's pretty easy, so we'll be able to go through that quick, and then the second one might be a little bit more of a challenge. And what we're going to cover is 3-fingered power chords, how to effectively move from 6-string power chords to the 5th-string power chords, and also we're going to apply some ties. So yeah, we got a bit to cover here, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so let's start out by taking a look at our 3-fingered power chords. Up until now, we were using 2-fingered power chords. An E string, our pointer would be on the E string, and then our ring would be on the A string. On our A string bass chords, or 5th-string bass chords, our pointer would be on the A string, ring would be on the D string. Let's go back to the E string. Now for our 3-fingered chords, what we're going to do is move our ring finger over and add our pinky there on the D string. And same fret as our ring finger, which is at the 5th fret. Pointer's on the 3rd fret, ring is on the 5th fret, and our pinky is on the 5th fret. And you hit all 3. And also make sure your hand is kind of leaning over a little bit, so you're muting these other strings just in case you hit them by accident. But definitely aim for hitting all 3 of those, and not only 2 either. Make sure you hit all 3. Now let's take a look at the actual chord. So this is our root here. Our ring is on the 5th. It's a 5th, called a 5th interval. Hence G5, A5, F5, whatever. That's what the 5 means. And then our our pinky now is actually going to be on the root again, but up an octave. So that's G. Our pinky's on the G. That's our root again. Doesn't matter where you play. You can play up here at B. Our pointer's on the root B. Pinky's on the root up an octave B. Same A string. Pointer on a root, pinky on a root. So you're just repeating that note again, but up an octave. So, now this is good. You want to really work on this, because sometimes you're going to prefer using the 2-fingered chords, but you really want to get used to using these, because there'll be certain instances where maybe you just want just a little bit more oomph. And it's also good for preparing you for playing full bar chords. So eventually you're going to want to play those. And then, as we're going to talk about in a second, there's certain reasons why you definitely want to use this. So yeah, make sure that you can play these 3-fingered power chords and move them around. Just make up a progression. Just jam on them using 3-fingered power chords instead of 2-fingered power chords. So now let's look at the reason why this is a really good thing to use. When we're moving from A string to our E string to our A string, if you're going quick, that can be kind of hard. So what we're going to do is you can play that chord. And then instead of having to lift up both of these fingers and bringing them down, what we can do is we hit that chord, and then what you can do is lift up your ring finger and just bring down the pointer, and this pinky will stay right where it is. So that makes that a little bit more easier to move. Instead of So that's something that we really want to get used to and start to play around with. And here's another really cool thing is you can actually bar these two and just lift up this ring. You're not going to want to do it all the time because this makes a distinct sound. But this is kind of cool because it has this heavy sound. You play this, lift up your ring, and you're actually playing the pinky, and then these two are barred with your pointer. It gives you a really heavy sound. So that's kind of a cool trick, especially if you have to do something quick. Now, if you try to do that with your with this, you know, it'll be a real pain moving from one to the other. This way, you just have to lift up that one finger, and you're good. You can play that really fast. So that's kind of something to keep in mind if you ever want to play something. You know, you have something like a. Can make it a little more beefier. Of course, that only works with our A string. You can't do that with the E string because there's no other string above that. Or if you do a D string chord, you can bar the note above that, turn this into this. So it's kind of a cool little trick there. But we've got to get used to this in this exercise. So this is exercise 29 where we're actually going to do this exact thing right here. You're going to go. So it's a quarter note to a half note. So you got to hold that for two beats. 1, 2, 3. And then you come back to that chord. So 3-finger chord. 2-fingered chord with your pinky. Back down to this chord. And then you're going to go up to the 5th fret, do the same thing. And then you go down, hit an E5 chord. Same with this one. You can hit that, then bar these two. And yeah, then you got 3 strings involved. So what we got here is go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forgot I was going to the E there for a second. So yeah, it's a pretty simple progression. So that's something that you want to work on. Now let's just jump over to the other one because that one's a little bit more involved. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our 7th fret and we're going to do the same idea. We're going to play a couple chord notes with a 3-finger chord. Then we're going to bring this down 2-fingered but using our pinky, and we're going to hit at the 7th fret. And we're going to move these down. Same thing. Keep the pointer and pinky to the 5th fret. So it's. And now, again, hopefully you have the book so you can follow along. If you notice, we have the 7, 7, 7, 5, and then there's a line connected to our chord in the next measure, which is also which is a half note, but again that's a tie, so you're not actually going to pick that again. You just let it ring out. In this case, for 2 more beats, because it's a half note that note is tied to, or that chord is tied to. So what you do is you're going to play 7, 7, 7, 5, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So you got to hold, you pick it on beat 4, but you gotta make sure you hold it over beat 1 and 2 of the next measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then you're going to come back up to the 7th fret on the A string. Again, keeping your pointer and your pinky. Hit that. Again, that's a half note, so you want to be able to hold that for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you got that count good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of times people go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and they rush into it too quickly. Make sure you hold this. You hit that. That's beat 4. Then 1, 2. Then over to here. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now in the next measure, what you do is same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And then you could come back to here. And actually here you're actually going to just hold this for 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Not 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Because this is a quarter note. As you notice, you have the tie, and then it's just a single line up there, so that means a quarter note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now we're moving again the same configuration. We're not switching over to our ring finger. We're keeping our pointer and our pinky. And we're going to just simply play 7, 8, 7. 7, 8, 7. So what's the last half is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So get those two separately down, and then you can mix them together. So here's the whole thing together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. There's a little quick exercise 29 and then exercise 30. So this is worth putting some time into, making sure you can get this really well, because it just makes switching between the strings a lot easier. And again, don't forget that you can turn these into these. So, you know, when you have, you can turn that into. Sounds a lot heavier. And sometimes you may prefer that. Sometimes maybe you want the little real distinct, defined sound. So there you go. Here's exercise 30. Work on that. Get that down. And you got any questions, as usual, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.